This is me about, okay, like half an hour later, I'm back. I have a bottle of Snow Angel Gori Sake. That's right, I have sake, or should I say osake. That's right, I know that much. Now then, I did plan on drinking today. I like to drink early. I drink at 12 p.m. on the dot, so I can have a good, nice, long day of drinking. That's just how I am. And it's 12:54 p.m. currently, and I'm going to take sips as I play. Now then, I'm going to, you know what, let me take a photo and maybe I'll put it up. There we go, you probably see, if I have the photo up, then that's my setup. That's how I look like when I'm playing. Now then, Snow Angel Nigore Sake. Apparently I'm supposed to move this shit around. Every year, the relatives who visit Rokkenjima let out a sigh of admiration at the rose garden which first greets them. They stood there talking with each other about the rose's beauty and the state of their blooming this year. There was a single unhealthy rose among them, and Maria became overwhelmed with dejection at its state. I remember. But George used his quick wits. Oh, we're moving very quickly through what happened. And saying she should look after it if she felt that sorry for it. He marked it with a candy wrapper and immediately restored Maria's good mood. Are we gonna find out what happened to the rose? Let me guess. We fucking ate it at that dish. And once Battler, with whom she had been getting along well all morning, raised the subject of Halloween that Maria loved so much, she began playing around energetically again. To Maria, those marshmallow jack-o'-lantern candies that, oh, I fucking pressed some shit on accident, hold on, that her mother had bought for her were probably a treasure greater than any other. It seemed that several of them had been bought for her, and she demanded trick-or-treat from every person she met, giving them candy instead of the other way around.
マリアはどうしてこんなにハロウィンが好きなんだろうな。日本人には一つ馴染みにくいイベントだと思ってたんだが。
仮装行列で練り歩く子供のお祭りだからじゃねえのか？普段と違う格好をしてはしゃぎ合うってのは楽しいぜ。
多分僕はもう少しディープな理由によるものだと思うな。
I think it's because of witches.
何しろ魔女のマリアちゃんだからね。
Right.
そういや、飛行場でもマリアは仮装するなら魔女になりたいって言っていたっけ。マリアって魔女が好きなんだ。
ええ、大好きよ。
Oh, yep.
困ったくらいに。
Becomes a problem.
まあまあ、あのくらいの年頃はファンタジックな存在に憧れるもんですから。せめてテレビアニメのヒロインに憧れるくらいなら可愛いんだけど。
Oh, a heroine like let's see, who would be a good heroine? Maybe I don't know. Judging by Rose's reaction, it seemed that, as a mother, she did not find her daughter's love for witches pleasant. Seemingly all the cousins other than Battler were able to understand this, and they shrugged their shoulders, smiling awkwardly.
ほー、魔女好きだとハロウィンも好きになるって論法なのか？わかんなきゃ本人に聞けばいいか。おい、マリア！ハロウィンと魔女って何か関係あるのか？
As Battler asked that, George and Jessica let out a small noise. It seemed they were too late. It almost looked as though Maria had been waiting for that question. After looking happy for an instant, her expression turned a little mean, as if to say, "You don't know anything, do you?" She's very condescending. It was the expression of an enthusiast who has been enraged by the ignorant statement of an outsider with a wrong impression. Don't tell me she's gonna put that fucking face up. That noise. Oh.
ケルト人は1年間を通じてその勢いを変える太陽は 一年を通して生まれ、育ち、老いて死んで、そして再び蘇ると考えていたの。
Revival?
納得だな。春のか弱い、ポカポカした太陽が、どんどん成長して暑いくらいになり、次第に痩せ衰えていく様をなるほど、太陽の一生と考えるのも頷けるぜ。
だから彼らは10月の最後に太陽は死に、死の国で体を休めて、冬至の日に再び蘇ると考えたの。それで太陽が1年の生涯を終えて死ぬその日を大晦日、サビンと呼んでお祝いしたの。
再び日照時間が長くなり出す冬至の日を太陽の復活の日とする考え方はとても面白いよね。古代の人々がいかに太陽を神聖視していたかがわかるエピソードだよ。
で、それが魔女とどう関係があるんだ？
It seemed that my casual urging forward had slightly infuriated Maria. She glared at me with eyes and told me to let her explain without interrupting. Maria looked like she was having fun telling me, so I decided not to interrupt.
10月と11月の狭間は生と死が最も近くなる。ケルト人たちはこの時期に聖者の世界と死者やこの世ならざる者の世界が最も近づき、異界の住人たちがたくさん訪れると信じてたの。日本でいうお盆みたいなものだよ。
At the time, the people believed that the souls returning to the physical world would go into people's houses or possess people to do bad things. So in order to avoid harm from them, the people invented protective rituals. One of those was to imitate creepy monsters and scare the souls instead, which was apparently a way to avoid being possessed.
その部分がお祭りになっていって仮装行列になってったんだな。マリアは本当に物知りだぜ。
ほんまやな。わしもハロウィンに備えな言われがあるなんて知らんかったわ。
しかしそれのどこにお菓子をくれなきゃいたずらしちゃうぞってのが出てくるんだ？
Her knowledge was so extensive that the adults had started listening in, too, at some point. Maria, who was normally always treated like the youngest, puffed out her chest in pride. Rosa tried to say this was just a kid's story, and that she wanted to quickly break up the circle and set the luggage down in the guest house. But nobody else agreed, and she let out a heavy sigh.
トリックオアトリートは単なるお遊び。本来のケルト人たちの儀式とは何の関係もない。それは後にキリスト教の習慣が混合してできたものなの。でもマリアは本来のハロウィンの姿とはそうあるべきだと思うの。
According to Maria, the souls of the dead weren't the only ones who visited from the world of the non-human. There were also spirits that had an intimate connection of how people lived. It was because humans received the favors of those spirits that they were able to earn a wonderful blessing and a year's worth of good crops.
つまりハロウィンってのは収穫祭の意味も少しはあったわけか。
なるほどな。言われてみりゃ、10月ってのは季節的にも色々節目って気がするぜ。日本の4月のちょうど反対側だもんな。なるほど。キリはいいかもしれねえな。
そしてね、魔女たちはね、その時期に魔女集会、サバトを開いたの。魔女たちは豊かな恵みをもたらしてくれた精霊たちに感謝し、ねぎらったの。
ハロウィンの仮装は向こうから来る客人たちの模倣。つまり彼らにお菓子を施すのは一年の収穫への感謝の気持ちがあってもいいわけだね。
ジョージお兄ちゃんの言う通り。
つまりハロウィンはこの世とあの世の交流のある時期ってわけなんだな。それでつまり魔女たちにとってはそういう世界の客人たちと交流できる大切な機会だったと、そう言いたいわけか？
バトラの言う通り。だからね、 魔女たちや悪魔たちの力が最も活発で盛んになるのが10月なの。きっとベアトリーチェも来てくれる。そしてね、一緒にマシュマロお菓子食べて、マリアも黄金鏡に連れてってもらうの。一緒に魔法のお歌を歌って、魔法の呪文を習って、魔法陣の書き方を習うの。そしてね、ルーンの秘密を習って、早く早くマリアを立派な魔女にしてもらうの。
あらあら、それは素敵ね。子供は夢があるのが一番よ。ところでローザ、マリアちゃんは今年でいくつになったんだったかしら？
マリア、もうそのお話は終わりにしなさい。
気にしないで、ローザさん。女の子なら、誰だって一度は思い描く夢じゃない。
ありがとうございます。でももう、マリアはそういう年を卒業していますので。こら、やめなさいと言ってるでしょ。
Rosa scolded Maria, trying to shut her up before her cheery discussion about black magic earned her the snicker of the relatives.
へえ。そいつはなんだか、スケールのでかい話だな。ところで、ベアトリーチェって誰だっけ？
Okay, what's up with this battler? So we have a battler that is... Again, they're playing a game. Is this that same battler, or is he observing this turn of events? What is going on here?
なんだっけ？聞いた名前だな。
Battler had been gone for 6 years and had completely forgotten about the legend of the Rokkenjima witch. However, when he said that he didn't know Beatrice's name, Maria's mood, which had been so bright until just now, became sour in an instant. When he saw that, Battler immediately remembered that it was the name of the witch of the island, but the damage had been done. Until Maria's mood improved, many mysterious and fabulous episodes regarding the Golden Witch were drilled into his brain.
もうよしなさい、マリア。ありがとうね、バトラ君。お話に付き合ってくれて。カノン君、お仕事があるんでしょ？もう行ってちょうだい。ゴーダさん、みんなとりあえず荷物を置きたがってると思うの。悪いんだけど、みんなをゲストハウスへ案内してくれるかしら。
かしこまりました。それでは皆様、ゲストハウスへご案内いたします。
That's my boy Cadden right there.
それでは、失礼いたします。
Led by Golda, the relatives headed off in the direction of the guest house, their minds on setting down their luggage and taking a quick rest. They didn't notice that Rosa and Maria had stayed in the same spot. Oh, don't tell me. Please don't hit her. Oh, fuck. Oh, again? After watching them leave towards the guest house, Rosa's features changed suddenly. Yeah, she is very... She's evil. She let go with the hand that had been gripping Maria's arm the whole time. There was a bright red mark there, making it clear how much excessive force she had been gripping Maria's slender arm with. God, she's so violent. Oh my god, don't tell me. That hand then smacked Maria over the head and pulled her left ear up into the air, pinching it sharply.
魔女の話はするなといつも言ってるでしょうが。それはママとの約束だといつも言っているでしょ。ママ
痛い！ママ痛い！痛い！
ハロウィンうるさいのよ、あんたは。魔女のお祭り？ケルト人が何よ、黒魔術が何よ、バカじゃないの？あんた9歳よ、9歳。電車であんなに騒ぐから、わざわざ電車降りてまでその蛍光塗料みたいな気持ち悪いお化けマシュマロを買ってやったのよ。遅刻してまであんたに買ってやったのよ。あんた、どこまで私の顔を潰せば気が済むのよ。
As Rosa cursed, she twisted Maria's ear up, making it seem like it was going to snap off. Why does this... I really don't understand why something like this pisses her off to such an extent to where she would abuse her child in a public situation, by the way. Like out in the open. Here, even though everybody walked away, they can just look back. Here in the train station, in front of everyone, an expression of anguish spread across Maria's face, and she stood on her tiptoes as though her life depended on it, trying to soften the pain of her ear that was being pulled. What is the story between her? Rosa suddenly stole the candy that Maria had been holding in her hands. Then she threw it on the ground and stepped on it over and over. To Maria, it was supposed to be proof of her memory of that span of time, however brief, when she had enjoyed it going shopping with her mother. But it was being trampled by that very same mother. It was as though a brand was being pushed against Maria's eyes, leaving a mark that couldn't be erased.
こんな気持ち悪いお菓子が何よ！気持ち悪い！気持ち悪い！あんたがそんなんだから！あんたがそうなんだから！気持ち悪い！気持ち悪い！気持ち悪い！
She struck Maria's head over and over again with the palm as she spoke. She didn't hit Maria's face because the red swelling would stand out. Maria closed her eyes tightly, patiently bearing her mother's violence. No, that wasn't quite it.
帰ってきてママ、帰ってきてママ。助けてママ、助けてママ。悪い魔女に打ち勝って。
She kept bearing it, muttering that over and over.
だから！その魔女ってのをやめろっつってんのよ！この
Rosa's shoulders shook as she breathed, tired from hitting. Maria grasped her hands together, withstanding it, hoping her mother would come back quickly.
ママ、早く帰ってきて。マリアを助けてよ、ママ。悪い魔女をやっつけてよ。
Is Maria sort of, what is the word? I guess reverting or creating a little space because of this abuse? I feel like she is.
いつまでもそこでそうしていなさい。そしてそこで魔女でもハロウィンでもいつまでもブツブツ一人で言ってればいいのよ。
After throwing those words at Maria, Rosa went off towards the guest house, leaving Maria behind. Maria, unable even to remember that it was alright to cry, kept staring down at the trampled, unrecognizable jack-o'-lantern candy. That candy looks cute. I'm really wondering what happened to make her so violent like this. To hate those things with such intense passion.
どこ行ってたの？
ごめんなさい。バラが素敵だったもので、ついつい。
ローザ、早く荷物を置いてこいよ。兄貴んとこへ挨拶に行こうぜ。
ん？マリアちゃんはどうしたんや？まだ花壇におるんかいな。
ええ。気に入ったバラがあるみたいで、世話をするって言って聞かなくて。しばらくは好きにさせることにしました。
女の子には女の子の世界があったことを、時には尊重してあげないとね。
そうね。お気遣いをありがとう、キリエ姉さん。ゴーダさん、私たちの部屋はどこ？
ご案内いたします。こちらでございます。お荷物をお持ちいたしましょう。
結構よ。自分で持てます。ありがとう。
Rosa went into the room that Gorda had guided her to. Closing the door somewhat violently, she threw her luggage on top of the bed. She She got down on her knees in front of the bed and buried her face in it. For a while, Rosa made as if to shred the sheets with her fingernails, sobbing continually.
Maria-sama, 大丈夫ですか?
Kanon, who had been hiding behind a thicket, appeared after watching Rosa leave.
平気だよ。
Wait, is she creating a separate personality to cope with this? Maria laughed unpleasantly, but to Kanon, who had seen the whole thing, it looked like she was enduring as best she could, right?
最低のやつだ。あれで母親なんて。
仕方ないよ。その程度の器には、その程度のが入り込む。マリアは全然平気だよ。
Wait a minute, she said Maria. Did she refer to herself in the third person? Kanon got down on his knees and picked up the trampled candy. It was tragic just looking at it. He thought about dusting it off and returning it to her, but really couldn't do so with it in that condition. As he was at a loss at what to do, he met eyes with Maria. No, they didn't meet. Maria was looking at the candy that Kanon had picked up. Right now, Maria's heart was surely the same as that trampled candy, which had been crushed into a pulp. It would be really cute if he eats it. Kanon realized this, but he didn't know what he should do.
そうだ。さっき僕がもらったのと交換してあげるよ。
Kanon remembered that an identical candy, which he had received from Maria, was in his pocket. Maria stuck out her hands. Kanon thought she was trying to accept it, so he held out the candy, but Maria didn't try to grasp it. Then Kanon realized she was asking him to give it back. No matter how tragic it was, the trampled candy was Maria's. Her mother had brought it for her. No matter how tragic, it had to be this candy. If only it could be made pretty again by dusting it off. Kanon hung his head.
僕には誇りを払う程度しかできない。ごめん。
Kanon held out the miserable candy she wanted. Maria took it and spoke.
ありがとう。人間には誇りしか払えないけど、魔女には元通りに直すことができるよ。ベアトリーチェなら簡単にね。
マリア様はベアトリーチェ様のことを
Oh fuck, I skipped. There couldn't be anyone related to the Ushiromiya family who didn't know Beatrice's name, with Battler as an exception. But just now, Maria had told Battler about her proudly. She had spoke almost as though she had been meeting with Beatrice regularly. The inside of the fist Kanon made with his left hand hurt sharply. In the past, a witch called Beatrice had appeared and had tempted him and Shannon. He had always tried to make himself think it had been a bad dream. However, Shannon insisted that it had definitely been a real witch. And then, this summer, the shrine to the local Shinto god had been hit by lightning and had disappeared without a trace in the span of a single night. He had known that Shannon had broken the mirror. Right, I was about to bring that up. And he remembered too that upon the witch's departure, she had left him with the words that she would eventually be revived. And now, this girl who had no end of faith in Beatrice spoke as though she had met her. Kanon couldn't suppress a sense of something ominous welling up in his heart. For a while, Maria remained silent, as though she could see into Kanon's heart, as though she was waiting for his memory of Beatrice to come back to him. Then she spoke matter-of-factly.
マリアはね、ベアトリーチェとお友達なの。今日だって会って一緒に遊ぶよ。
遊びますか？
She's so pained by What's happening to him?
うん。遊ぶよ。一緒にね、魔法のお勉強をするの。
She's definitely creating this Maria, just like how Jessica mentioned. This is her second personality. That to endure what's happening to her. The face of the witch, who Kenan had tried to pretend was a bad dream, began to slowly creep into the back of his mind.
お父様は研究で大変ご多忙と仰せです。残念ながら、こちらへはおいでになれないとのことです。
やれやれ。こちとら秋の大忙しの中、日程をつけて、はるばる六軒島まで来てるんだぜ。親父も少しは愛想を良くしてもらいたいもんだ。
ほんとよね。南條先生。本当に研究や機嫌の問題なの？ベッドから起き上がれないくらいに容体が悪いって言うんじゃないの？
さて、どうでしょうかな。私の口からは何とも。
Nanjo glanced at Natsuki. Oh fuck, I did it again. As though he wasn't qualified to disregard Natsuki when he spoke on this topic.
お父様はますますにご健康でいらっしゃいます。
Right, they're protecting him. None of these fucking worms, these vultures can speak to father.
寝たきりなどと失礼極まりない。でも余命3ヶ月なんでしょ？普通に考えれば、痩せ衰えてベッドからも起きられないはずよ。でしょ、南條先生？
波の患者ならそうでしょうがな。金蔵さんは並外れた気力をお持ちです。あの気迫にお迎えも恐れて近寄れないのかもしれませんな。
それほどまでにお元気なら、少なくとも安心ね。
そこまで元気なら、せめて挨拶くらいはさせてほしいもんなんだがな。親族会議ってのは、親父の顔を見に来たって意味なんだぜ。これじゃあ、何のために来たのかわからねえぜ。
そう言うな。いればいたで、心が休まらないといつもぼやくのだろうが。兄弟一同水入らずで今年も全員欠けることなく集まれたことを喜ぼうじゃないかね。
昨年の親族会議でも会えなかったのよ。血を分けた子供たちが2年ぶりに挨拶したいというのがどうして理解してもらえないのかしら。 挨拶の言葉があるのでしたら、私どもがお伝えします。それとも、エヴァさん、何かお父様にお会いして、挨拶以上のお話でもあられるのですか？
Oh god, already this family can't do nothing but fucking fight.
いやね、何の話よ、もう。
Oh yes, yes.
予算か、エヴァ。
Right, geez.
夏井さん、堪忍な。エヴァも娘として、お父さんの病状が不安なだけなんや。
There's high tensions every time.
ちょいと気持ちを汲み取ってな。
その通りだな。エヴァは親父殿が余命を宣告されてから急に親孝行をするようになったじゃないか。なるほど。その姿をぜひ見てもらいたいという気持ちも
Oh my god, okay. Bringing it right out to the open, alright? Oh, okay.
何が言いたいのよ。
よせよ、姉貴。晩飯までには機嫌を直してくれるよう祈ろうじゃねえか。それに俺たちは到着したばかり。まずは軽く挨拶に訪れただけだぜ。親族会議は親父抜きだってできる。いや、兄弟で意見を統一してからじゃなきゃ話せねえことだっていろいろあるはずだぜ。な、秀吉兄さん。
そうや。ルドルフ君の言う通りや。わしらが全員顔を揃えるのは年に一度しかない。貴重な時間を大事にし、汚い話し合いをせんといかん。
Even though the tea hadn't even come yet, they were very strong-minded.
でも、その前に本家の素晴らしい調度品に囲まれた客間で、のんびりと紅茶を楽しむゆとりがあってもいいんじゃないかしら。
Kiria's words seemed to hold some slight admonishment towards all of the people gathered in that place. They all understood, and as they cleared their throats and straightened their neckties, the atmosphere in the room returned to normal for a moment. I like her a lot, man. She's a nice person.
失礼します。
Oh, my girl.
お茶をお持ちいたしました。
よー、シャノンちゃん。ますますべっぴんさんになったな。
That's right. Shannon entered the parlor, pushing their serving cart. The serving cart. I hope she knows the name of the fucking tea she's serving because everyone decided to slowly enjoy some black tea for the time being. A wonderful aroma began to spread throughout the parlor. Looking at the scene, it would have been impossible to guess the strained atmosphere which had been there until right before Shannon had entered. Of course, Shannon, who was sitting at the tea, probably didn't even notice. Kiria made a gesture that seemed to laugh at everyone's adult appearance. Rudolph didn't like it when Kiria took the initiative and spoke at the family conference. It was his worthless male pride. What? He probably didn't want to look like a weak man taking his wife's advice. She understood that and was doing her best to refrain from saying anything unnecessary. Ah, come on, let her speak. I mean, what? So she separated herself from the circle of siblings, which was good-natured only in appearance, and slowly enjoyed her tea near the window.
あら、ローザさん。兄弟で水入らずなのでは？
ご冗談を。
ごめんなさい。気を悪くしないで。うちの夫に呆れてるだけだから。
It seemed that Rosa hadn't been able to keep up the charade of amicability. I know that word, amicability. They had come here to fight bloodily and dirtily, each trying to steal the inheritance from the others. She probably didn't want to pretend to be fellow conspirators at this stage. Or maybe she was still much too inexperienced for that.
だいぶ風が出てきているようですね。枝葉があんなに揺れて。
もう台風が近くまで来ているのでしょうね。今夜あたりからはだいぶ降るのかしら。
マリアちゃん、この1年で随分立派になりましたね。
そう見えます？未だに自分のお洋服を畳むことすらできないんですよ。
ええ。こんなにも愛情たっぷりなお母さんと一緒なんですもの。
Oh, yes, very, very affectionate.
心の豊かな子に成長しますよ。
Oh, I bet she will. I bet she fucking will. She'll grow up with a lot of love in her heart. Rosa was silent. Maybe she was unsure as to how Kyrie meant that.
私なんて母親失格ですよ。子に生まれる親は選べない。
Right.
あの子がかわいそうで。
お互い様じゃないですか。親だって生まれる子は選べない。
Rosa bit her lower lip.
どちらが悪いとかじゃなくて、一緒に生きていくんだという気持ちで、ゆっくり成長を見守ってあげればいいじゃないですか。ローザさんは毎日をマリアちゃんと過ごしてるから、小さな変化に気づかないかもしれないけれど、1年ぶりに再会した私たちには、その大きな成長ぶりがよくわかりますよ。
もし本気で言ってくれてるなら、ありがとうございます。
それでは失礼いたします。ご用がありましたらいつでもお呼びつけください。
Shannon bowed politely and left the room. After Hideyoshi and Rudolph watched her go with turned heads, the atmosphere in the room began to revert back to what it had been right before Shannon had visited. Oh my god, they immediately went into attack mode.
お父様がいらっしゃられないなら、それはそれでできる話もあるというものよ。ねえ、ルドルフ？
ああ、そうだな。俺たちははるばるここまで、埃の匂いがする紅茶を飲みに来たわけじゃねえぜ。
Oh, yeah, right. Alright, fuck it.
よかろう。
Yeah, let's get right to it.
1秒を争ってお前たちがしたいという話を聞こうじゃないか。
やれやれ。たくましい人たちね。早速始めたわ。
私も加わらないといけないわ。あの人たち、私が主張しないと、4人兄弟であることをすぐ忘れるから。
あなたも大変ね。ちょっと言葉を選ばなかったかしら。ごめんなさい。
ううん、気にしてません。こちらこそ、ごめんなさい。私たち、互いに娘を持つ母親同士なんだから、もっと交流しなきゃいけないのに。いっつも会えば変な話ばかりで。
この屋敷の空気のせいよ。ここの空気を嗅ぐと、いっつも私たちはギスギスし合ってるもの。ローザさんとは親族会議じゃない席で、一度ゆっくりお茶でも飲みたいわ。銀座に行きつけの素敵な喫茶店があるの。ぜひ今度招待させて。
ありがとう、キリエさん。その時はぜひ。
いやーね、急に空が暗くなってきたわ。まるでこの部屋の人たちが天気を悪くしてるみたい。もうゴロゴロ鳴ってるわ。あら、ぽつりと来たかしら。
There really were small splashes of rain on the glass of the parlor window. It seemed that the weather had gotten worse faster than they had expected. Just then, a silent thunderbolt struck inside Rose's head, and she remembered that her beloved child was in the rose garden. Oh, right! A normal girl would think about going into the house if the weather got bad. But Maria was different. I remember she would sometimes become stubborn and wouldn't move no matter whether rain or even spears fell from the sky. That's right. I told that kid just stay there doing that forever, didn't I? At this small exclamation, everyone turned to look at Rosa.
なんだ、どうしたんだね。
ごめんなさい。ちょっと表に行ってきます。すぐ戻ります。
なんだなんだ、どうしたってんだあいつ。
いいじゃない。すぐ戻るわよ。それより始めたら？私たちの本題。
そうね。ローザ抜きでも進められる話よ。話を戻しましょう。
Yes, the big matter at hand. Rosa dashed from the entrance hall into the rose garden. When she opened the door, the wind that hit her was too strong to be called a breeze and told her that the typhoon was approaching faster than she had thought. Is it gonna be right on the fucking island? Just as Gurye had said, small droplets of rain were mixed in with the wind. There was also the low rumble of thunder. Oh, bitch. It could start raining anytime. Rosa headed for the rose garden. She headed for the place where she had scolded Maria a short while ago. It was almost lunchtime. The children had been told that they could just come to the mansion at lunchtime, so they were probably in the guest house, waiting to be called. Even if Maria didn't come, they would surely think that I had taken her to the mansion with me and wouldn't worry much. After all, she was with her mother, so there shouldn't have been anything to worry about, except I was here and had thrown my daughter into the worsening weather outside all alone. It really was as I thought. She was standing She was standing stock still, exactly the same way she had been in the place where I had scolded her. Held in her hand was the candy that I had bought, given her, and then stepped on and crushed. With that gripped in her hand, she had been standing there as the strong wind whipped her hair about, tormenting her.
ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。ごめんね、マリア。ママを許して。
ママ、おかえり。マリア、ママが帰ってくるのずっと待ってた。怖い魔女につねられたけど、我慢してママが帰ってくるの泣かずに待ってた。マリア、ママを許して。ママは悪くないの。また悪い魔女に取り憑かれただけなの。だから平気。ママ大好き。
Oh my god.
愛してる。
I guarantee that's gonna crush her. Hearing that. Right, what'd I tell you? Rightfully so.
ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。悪い魔女に負けて。ママを。
The bad witch, the evil witch. Hitting her that hard? Holy shit. And over what? Just cause she says ooh and likes Halloween? Rosa buried her face in Maria's small chest, crying and begging for forgiveness. And those tears dripped down again as they had countless times before. If only the brilliant sun had been shining on the two of them. All of their cares would have been evaporated, and they would have felt like they could begin anew. However, what surrounded the two of them was the worsening weather. The strong winds, mixed in with the sound of thunder, were saddening. Rosa noticed the sound of Maria sniffling. If she stood exposed to the wind for too long, she would probably catch a cold.
さあ、マリア、もうすぐお昼よ。ママと一緒にお屋敷に行きましょう。
行かない。
どうして？
Oh no, please don't tell me she's gonna say Beatrice and she's gonna hit her again, making this way worse. Rosa thought that Maria had already forgiven her, so she never imagined she would refuse. But that expression on Maria's face didn't look like that of a child resisting her mother. So Rosa wasn't able to understand why Maria wanted to stand still in the rose garden, pointlessly, as the weather grew even worse. Maria answered that question.
ベアトリーチェがね、もうすぐ来るの。だから待ってるの。
マリア。
Rosa started to say something, faltered, and then fell silent. Then, they had just gone to great lengths to make up with each other. So she chose her words carefully, trying to get Maria to come with her to the mansion without denying the witch outright.
ベアトリーチェが来るの？そう。なら、ここじゃなくて、お屋敷の中で待ちましょう。いつまでもこんな風の中にいたら、風邪をひいてしまうわ。
来る！ベアトリーチェは来る！そしたらね、ベアトリーチェにね、お菓子あげるの。トリックオアトリートするの。ジャックオーランタンのマシュマロお菓子あげて、ハッピーハロウィンって言うの。
Maria pulled yet another sweet out of her handbag, moaning, ooh, ooh. Rosa was bewildered, not knowing what to do as Maria started being difficult again. Just give her an umbrella. Oh shit! Just then, there was a sudden and massive roar of thunder. It was probably a sign. A sign that indicated this island had become closed off by the storm and detached from common sense and reality. Therefore, as of this moment, all common sense would no doubt be useless. The wind blew even stronger, and in the middle of a blizzard and scattered rose petals, a figure appeared, leaving Rosa momentarily unable to imagine that this was a scene from reality. Wait a minute. No, probably it was. It had to be fantastical. Because that figure was shaped like... No fucking way. No fucking way. Maria dashed over to the figure. Normally Rosa would have scolded her daughter if she dashed over to a complete stranger. But Rosa forgot about that, unable to do anything, but stood there, shocked.
久しぶりよ。元気であったか？
マリアは元気。魔女は風邪をひかない。
魔女は呪いにて風邪をひかせはするが、自らがひいてはなんとも間抜けな話よ。せいぜい自らが風邪をひくことなどないよ。これからも精進するがいい。
She patted Maria's head and said, as she said this, smiling roguishly. Rosa couldn't have known the name of the woman who was happily spoiling Maria. However, Maria had called to her in the beginning when she had appeared. Therefore, even though Rosa had never met her, even though she hadn't named herself, Rosa was able to learn her name. However, that name held a special meaning on Rokkenjima and in the Ushiromiya family. There's no way something so stupid could.
ベアトリーチェ、ハッピーハロウィン。ほら、買ったの。ベアトにもあげる。
ハッピーハロウィン。ほう、これをわらわにとは。天国にも地獄にも行けず、煉獄の闇にてさまよう男の唯一の明かりも、こうして歌手となれば実に可愛らしいことよ。人の世とも、人ならざる者との世とも切り離された今のこの島で、これほどふさわしい歌詞はないかもしれぬな。マリア、それはどうしたのか？
The witch noticed the sweet that Maria was grasping. It was Maria's candy, which had been stomped on by Rosa and had taken on a pitiful shape.
おお、踏んづけて潰れちゃった。ベアトは元に戻せる？
Maria deliberately didn't say that it was her mother who stepped on it. However, when the witch saw the candy, for some reason she looked at Rosa and grinned. A chill went down Rosa's spine, as though she felt that this gaze could see through every part of her.
たやすいことよ。かすがよ。
Maria held out that candy gleefully. Rosa could do nothing but watch this unfold, stunned. How could this person gloss over the fact that the candy was pitifully trampled in a way that could satisfy Maria? Maria looked as though she believed that it could be fixed as good as new. There was no way that could be done without real magic.
これは見事に潰れているな。さあさあマリア、目を閉じて思い出してごらんなさい。本当はあんなにも素敵なお菓子だったから、思い出の中のお菓子はいつもふっくら。だからあなたも思い出してごらんなさい。本当はどんなお菓子だったのか。
Along with those strange words, spoken as though singing an improvised folk song, the witch threw the sweet into the air. Maria held her eyes closed, just as the witch had told her, and was focused on remembering the shape that the crushed candy really had been. Therefore, only Rosa saw that scene. The sweet, which had been thrown into the air, burst into a gold color. No, those were golden butterflies. It scattered into several golden butterflies, and they began to assemble in the witch's hand, held up to the sky. Am I reading this good? And when they had, unbelievably, the candy had returned to its beautiful original form, just like the time it had been bought. Only Rosa and the witch had watched that scene. Unable to understand the event that was occurring right in front of her eyes, Rosa stood with her mouth open, forgetting to shut it.
もう目を開けてよいぞ。受け取るがよい。 これでそなたの歌詞も元通りだ。
ベアトリーチェはいつもすごいすごい
There was a very bold contrast between Rosa's shocked appearance and Maria's innocently joyful one. Was that what the witch was laughing at? A smile floated on Beatrice's face, different from the one that she had shown Maria.
わらわの顔がそうまじまじと見られては穴も開こうぞ。
ごめんなさい。
At those words, it hit Rosa strongly. Rosa knew her face. She knew it from the portrait of the witch. But no. Wait. Was this mysterious woman? Mystery woman, really?
マリア、この歌詞の代わりに、そなたにはこれを与えよう。
What?
手紙
Yo! The witch pulled a western envelope from her pocket and gave it to Maria. However, when Maria made to open it, the witch stopped her.
ならぬ。それを開けるときはすぐに訪れるが、それまで決して開けてはならぬ。大事に持っているがよい。そなたを黄金鏡へ誘う招待状となろう。
黄金鏡やっと連れてってくれるんだね
大事にしまっておくのだぞ。誰にも見せてはならぬ。
守る。魔女との約束は絶対に守る。
そして、これはそなたへだ。
Oh shit. What is she gonna give her? A punch to the gut?
私
She probably hadn't imagined that the witch would speak to her too. Rosa was bewildered by the second western envelope, which had been thrust before her. Oh. She remembered having seen that western envelope before. There could be no mistake. It was Kinzo's special envelope, used when he wrote with his own hand and bearing the Ushiromiya crest. Moreover, it was sealed with red sealing wax, and further still, it had an imprint which seemed to have been made by the head's ring. In other words, irrespective of what was written inside, this woman, who Maria called Beatrice, was trusted enough that she was in charge of a personal letter from the current Ushiromiya head.
4兄弟の誰でもよかった。
Dude, what is gonna happen? I'm so interested, man. I'm as interested as it was in episode 1.
だが、ここでそなたと出会ったということは、金蔵のルーレットがそなたを選んだということなのだろう。ならば受け取るがよい。そしてその中身を、全兄弟の揃う晩餐の席上で読み上げよ。
Rosa looked back and forth several times between the witch's face and the envelope she had been handed. Today was the family conference, and the biggest object of discussion was the inheritance problem. So, she had joined together with Ava and Rudolph, and they had planned to force certain conditions upon crowds to try to extort a prompt payment of several 100 million yen out of them. It was as if the witch could see through all of that. And when all of the siblings are gathered, what is she planning on announcing to us? With a personal envelope that no one but the Ushiromiya head can use.
マリア、天気が崩れるぞ。ゲストハウスへ戻り、昼を待つがよい。それではローザ、後ほど会おう。その席で改めて名乗らせてもらおうぞ。
What? She's gonna appear in front of everyone? The witch turned her back to her, laughing, and headed off towards the mansion with an air of composure. Maria saw her off with an energetic reply and then dashed off towards the guest house, leaving Rosa where she was, as though she didn't want to waste a second of informing the other cousins of her good fortune and meeting the witch. Ultimately, Rosa was left alone in the rose garden as the winds grew stronger, unable to do anything except pray, that what had happened was just a daydream. Oh shit, I'm getting lightheaded. The witch entered the entrance hall. Genji was there. With a respectful bow, Genji welcomed the guest, who approached from the entrance hall. I knew there was a special bitch. Never mind. I didn't. Oh, bitch. They even had a little jingle.
久しぶりだな、源氏。老いたではないか。
どれほどに老いようとも、家具は家具らしく、最後までお務めを果たすのみでございます。
あれの妻が、お前に嫉妬したことも懐かしい。金蔵は元気か？
I fucking love this little exchange here.
大変お元気にございます。
The witch's laugh was probably because she knew that Ginzo's own doctor had told him that he would not live much longer. However, if anyone actually looked at Ginzo, his energy and vigor, which made it extremely difficult to imagine that his remaining life really was slim, might make it natural to call him full of life. Maybe the witch had laughed at that.
挨拶に行こうではないか。
Man, how is he going to fucking react when he sees her?
30年ぶりに互いに呪いの言葉を吐き合うもよかろう。
As the witch grinned, she started walking, leaving Genji behind. Her gait was like that of a family member who knew the inside of the mansion well. Genji followed her as though he served her. At that very moment, Kirie-san came out of the parlor. She had probably come out to fix her makeup or something. And when she saw Genji following the witch, she was surprised, although her expression did not change. There was a visitor for Ginzo, whose remaining life was not long, on the day of the family conference, when the fate of the inheritance was to be decided. And furthermore, this person was well enough acquainted with the Ushiromiya family that Genji was following behind her. Kirie immediately realized that this person who she had never met before was someone deeply important. Kirie met eyes with the witch. Realizing that it would be rude to pretend not to notice, she greeted the witch.
はじめまして。ルドルフの5歳だったか。
さようでございます。ルドルフ様の今の奥方様であられます。キリエ様でございます。
From this exchange, Kirie realized that this woman was a guest of considerably high rank with the Ushiromiya family, and the fact that she was a guest of that level, coupled with the face of the entrance hall portrait behind her, made Kirie's eyes open wide in an instant. Oh, what? New portrait? Look at them sexy ass stockings. Hold up.
はじめまして。キリエと申します。初対面でしょうか。もし以前に挨拶をしていたなら、名前を忘れてしまって申し訳ございません。
Okay, new portrait by the way.
うすうすは想像がついているくせに。わらわにあえて名乗らそうというのか？
Uh-oh. Kirie had thought she had given her a sociable and humble greeting. Her expression grew slightly cloudy at that openly oppressive response. It didn't seem like this was a person she could grow to like. But if Kirie's imagination was correct, this witch likely held a huge key to what her own husband was most interested in, and one that stood a great chance of influencing tonight's family conference. Right, she better watch her tone. So she did not shoot back a retort and could only watch in silence as the woman went up the stairs to the second floor with Genji following behind. Damn, Kirie thinking quick. Light on her feet. So when someone tapped her shoulder from behind, she was so surprised she almost choked. It was Natsuki.
桐江さん、このようなところに立ち尽くして、いかがなさいましたか？
ごめんなさい。ちょっと魔女の肖像画に見とれていただけです。
黄金の魔女、ベアトリーチェですか。今日の後ろ宮家の復興は、彼女が授けた黄金がなければ成し遂げられなかったとか。お父様らしい幻想的なお話ですね。
Natsuki spoke of her in her usual way. She spoke from the position that the idea of a witch was just foolish, and that in the end it was nothing more than Ginzo's ramblings. However, for some reason, that no longer felt right to Kirie. Just now, she herself had seen the golden witch come in from the entrance hall and climb up the stairs. So Natsuki's choice of words seemed almost like a refusal to accept her existence. Or as if she was leading her to think that she did not exist.
ごめんなさい。少し頭痛がする気がして。ちょっと休もうと思います。
あら、そうですか？
Oh, isn't she... I was gonna say, isn't that funny? I was also gonna say, looking at her expression, she's probably happy she isn't the only one with a headache.
なら、良い頭痛薬がありますよ。
Right.
用意させましょう。
You know what? Let me just say this again. Look at... She's so fucking cute. Look at Natsuki's smile. The hallway in front of Ginzo's study was filled with the scent of sweet poison, particular to that green liquor. Ooh, green liquor. Where have I heard that? Absinthe? Genji, who was completely used to it, did not grimace. And the golden witch didn't grimace either.
この中からどれほど出ぬのか。
すでに数年になるかと思います。
Several years in that lil ass room?
それほどまでにわらわをカゴの鳥としたいか。哀れな。それを願うそなたが今やカゴの鳥、書斎の亡霊ではないか。それに気づけぬとは哀れな男よ。
あなた様と再びお会いする日までは、おそらく文字通り亡霊となっても研究を続けられるでしょう。
愛か狂気か猛襲か。
I think it's all three of them.
それも講じれば魔力となるか。悲しき魔術師よ。
The witch grasped the doorknob to the study. Right, I was gonna say. When she did, there was a sound like that of flesh burning and splitting open. It was the sound of the doorknob literally burning the witch's hand.
ベアトリーチェ様。
なんだこれは。魔除けか。
Oh, she looks scared, bitch. Yo, I like that look on her face.
はやつめ。こんなものに頼らなければ、おのがみも保てぬというのか。
その扉は、ベアトリーチェ様にはおつらいものと伺っております。私がお開けいたしましょうか。
いや、よい。あやつが勝てば、わらわは永遠のカゴの鳥。あやつが負ければ、愛に狂い、すべてを失った哀れな魔術師の生涯が、笑い草となって残るだけ。もはや金蔵もわらわさえも、ゲーム盤に並べられた駒に過ぎぬ。あとは、ルーレットの目が勝敗を分けるだけよ。ルーレットが目を見せるまで、わらわと金蔵が再会する必要はない。
The witch looked at her hand, which, although horribly burned, was beginning to heal bit by bit.
あるいは、そのための魔除けなのか。なるほど。それもまた潔し。すべては今や、金蔵のゲーム盤の上よ。気に入ったぞ、金蔵。そなたとのゲーム、楽しませてもらうぞ。わらわに恋焦がれ、
すべての生涯を投げ出したローマ術師の最後のギャンブル。その散りざまを楽しませてもらうぞ。
Threw away all his fucking life for this bitch. Well, if he really fucking loves her that much. Wow.
誰か。
This episode, I'm a little confused, man. I'm thinking, what is gonna happen next? Beatrice appeared. How is that gonna influence? And what is the goal? What is the end? Like, what is gonna happen here? Legit, what is gonna happen here? The painting changed. Like, I'm thinking about the end goal. Okay, she stabs everyone. If it's even gonna happen like that before. She kills everyone. She revives. Or she's already revived. I'm a little, I legit don't know what's gonna happen. Also, this is the question arcs. I feel like this is the question. I feel like I feel like I'm on the answer arcs. Cause I already got the answer to what the fuck happened. Like, I legit, I'm not joking, I legit don't know what questions could be poised to justify 4 answer arcs. Cause I have everything you could possibly answer has already been answered. For me anyways. Before I go, I'm gonna take a shot of some sake. This was made in Japan. There we go, imported by Oka Imports. Product of Japan. There's a lot of sediment in it, but you're supposed to drink it, apparently. I keep shaking the bottle around and it has like a bunch of air bubbles in it. I was gonna watch that cinematic and drink it, but oh yes. But you guys probably don't know this, but every time that cinematic has been played, I have been copyrighted and I think restricted on the visibility of that video. So the 2 or 3 videos that video cinematic showed up, it's been bad for me. Either way, I'm gonna take a shot. And guys, thank you for watching. I'm taking a shot as this shit goes out.